In soul consciousness, I remain merged in Baba's love. Baba's love is power, heals the soul, gives the support, and one feels very safe. So now, as I think of Baba as ocean of love, I gradually enter in this ocean and I feel the sweetness, coolness, calmness, very calm, very peaceful. As much I remain merged in Baba's love, love becomes my nature, always loving. There is so much silence when I emerge in Baba's love. Because soul becomes so carefree and feels that everything is guaranteed. So let us remain merged in Baba's love. That I could feel myself as real, natural, original, and experience the quality of authenticity. So let us take Drishti from Baba and remain merged in Baba's love.
Om Shanti, welcome to Avyakti Parivar, January 23rd, Raazyukt, Authenticity. Now we'll be listening from Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. Special month of January. There is natural remembrance of Shiv Baba and attention on following Brahma Baba. One is when we get introduction of Shiv Baba. Other is we know Shiv Baba through Brahma Baba. Whichever root sanskar we are talking about Brahma Baba, actually they are connected with Shiv Baba. Whenever spent few days with Brahma Baba, could feel how much Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba are together. I think giving company to each other. And then whatever I experienced through Brahma Baba, love, care, sustenance, belonging, or many, many times just saw light, Shiv Baba's light in his forehead. So they were together. So for us also, in remembrance of Shiv Baba, and then we think about uh, the roots and scars of Brahma Baba, because we want to follow. He followed Shiv Baba accurately. Brahma Baba followed Shiv Baba accurately. Whatever way we are studying, he was also studying. But the way he understood because of recognition of Shiv Baba. So that is why the quality of his efforts from very beginning were very, very natural. When we use word alokik, lok means this physical world. Alokik means it doesn't belong to this world. Soul doesn't belong to this lok, right? So when I know I am soul, I will start becoming alokik. That means even while doing actions, the feelings will be, others will also feel. I'm doing actions in soul consciousness. So that's like a lockic way. The relationships. I remember so much that when I look at my mother, she says, oh, I have 84 mothers. In this birth, she is my mother. So a lot of love for her, but I found suddenly there's no attachment. And I myself was surprised few times. There were certain situations and I thought, wow, such a alokik relationship where there is no attachment, but there is a lot of love, lot of care for each other, but no attachment. So in alokik awareness that I, the soul, in this body, but I am not from this lok. That means the ways of this world, way we get up, whatever people do in lokic world, we don't necessarily do that way because I am a lokic in soul consciousness. According to knowledge and maryadas, I will speak, I will keep relationship or everything in my personal life. That's called alokik. And avyakt really means something which is invisible. And we know that soul is not visible through these eyes, right? And because soul is light, and when you are becoming awake, mm, people will start seeing that lightness, cheerfulness. So that's like from alokik to awake. And then the way we serve from that stage, awake stage, is we start experiencing angelic stage, constant enthusiasm, wings to fly, enthusiasm, courage, tireless, many, many qualities as an angel. So more we reflect on these three stages, not only our intellect becomes subtle, but understanding from only also start because intellect is subtle now. It touches deeply the soul, not only intellect. So our thinking become alokik. We don't think like people think in lokic word for everything. Now, when you think about how do I spend time, where I spend time, your thought will come in tapasya and seva. Now, lokic people don't think that way, right? They will say where to go, what to do. So, a lokic way of thinking. I think we all will notice in our life that now we speak in a lokic way. We look at each other with that alokik drishti because soul doesn't belong to this lok world. So I as a soul, I am in body now, but I belong to soul world. Now, as much we practice, that is where authenticity comes. Because one is, I'm convinced and I know that I am a soul. But as much I practice soul consciousness, it feels very real. So authenticity is original, real, natural. It's not that it's only when I give knowledge of a soul to someone. But there was a time when I started giving course, the training we were given or directions or make us understand. First, when you go sit there in front of those who have come to take knowledge, students, first just have few minutes of silence and look at everyone in soul consciousness. Be soul consciousness, create that vibrations, that atmosphere of soul consciousness, so that when you speak, then soul can receive, not only intellect. Because when you are only talking from intellect, intellects will be touched. No? Once Savek Babdada said, intellects will touch and very good. But it won't be touched the soul to an extent that soul start making efforts. And I think we all know that in the sense of our heart is a witness to that, that when we just speak, collect few points and give a lecture, or rather you sit in soul consciousness, remembrance of Baba and talk. There is difference. You will feel different. Others also will experience it. So it is the practice that makes like I'm very authentic in whatever I'm saying. So authenticity can be of the person, it could be of an object, it could be my response, like honest. We can, if we look at diamond, then we say flawless diamond. So for diamond, the value of the diamond, so we can call it authenticity in the sense of what is real diamond. So Brahma Baba was real in the sense of what he understood, what he believed, then he practiced and he was becoming. For us, there is little gap between I understand more, practice less, and becoming also less percentage. So to be original, to be natural, to be real, and to be true. Baba says when Baba talks about unadulterated remembrance, I think each one of us know that if there is remembrance of anyone, it's not pure remembrance. It's not just remembrance of one. It doesn't mean you won't get thoughts of others. No, for seva, you do get thoughts, but not when I'm with Shiv Baba. When I am with Shiv Baba, I am with Shiv Baba. So whether we call it in all aspects, when it comes to my relationship, authenticity in relationship, I love someone, there's true love, which is definitely soul conscious love. There is nothing to pretend. Nothing is what I am trying to be and I am not. And that is where that purity and that natural innocence, innocent like a child, like child is unaware about any negativity. So my eternal self. So whatever, as I said, whether it's relationships, mm, yeah, true relationship, authentic relationship, not because I want something from you, I expect something from you. And if you don't do that the way I want you to do, no. True love is love. And that is where we are able to give good wishes to everyone, even whatever that soul is. In natural flow of good wishes for every soul. So if we keep thinking about authenticity at every step, in every aspect of the life, Baba, Brahma Baba always used to say, even there are laws of government, legality. There are principles of yagya. If I follow accurately, so it's not legality, but it's morality or spirituality, whatever we call it. So at all levels, in all aspects of life, authenticity keeps you very easy and very light. We say everything which is pure is very light. Pure gold is light. Then they add alloy. So authenticity, easiness and lightness and fearless. Mhm. It's not someone says, oh, now I found out so and so is like that, but doesn't, externally being different, internally different. No, very transparent. What I am, I am. And that is why Brahma Baba, Baba's children, with Brahma Baba, anytime you go to Baba, Baba's personality, Baba's drishti was same. Not that only when he sat in class in front of us, then he had loving, soul conscious drishti. No. Anytime you just appear there in front of Baba. Same we saw with Dadi Gulzar, Dadi Prakash Pani. That was real. Sometimes you have to really believe that, oh, in today's world, can there be people like this? Because they are angels. No? So authenticity also makes us angel. I like this morning when Baba said, every thought should be charitable and every word of blessings. So whether it is truthful, whether it's honest, real, and that was very much into Brahma Baba's root sanskar. He never tried to be what he is not. He just was natural. And that makes us feel stronger. But if I have to pretend, then it can make soul very tired or maybe frustrated sometimes. If you really have that honest heart, true love with Baba, then you constantly keep singing praise of Baba and keep yourself very engaged in Baba's task. Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Hello.
Greetings,
Om
everyone.
Shanti. Om Shanti.
I was watching everyone for a moment in the gallery mode and seeing everybody taking notes. I was experiencing how incredible this has become a university classroom.
Mhm.
And compared to the early days when you were sitting on the floor and that Brahma Baba would be sitting on the floor also to share, now we're in such an interesting environment where over 1,000 brothers and sisters are together taking notes, enjoying. I have more than 24 pages of notes since the beginning of the month. And I read them yesterday and I felt such an abundance. And on the topic of authenticity, I was wondering, how do you see what happens when we try to reconciliate a part of us that we know is real, which is still the effort maker or on the making, and we know with flaws and mistakes, and the part of us which we are getting as insight, as a perfect angelic form, and sometimes how to reconciliate those two. And then we try to be authentic. We say, well, if I'm expressing my little Shudra, I'm authentic. And if I'm expressing my deity, I'm also authentic. How do we reconciliate? And in between this two identities?
I think that internally I know that. That means I truly know what percentage I am in that stage of purity and true love and what percentage is missing. First thing is, of course, with my own self, but I always use word, you do it, no, let's do it. That means we have to accept we all are effort makers. Some might have 10% more to do, or 50 or 80, doesn't matter. So for me, like, I just express first externally that, when I came to New York and everything was new, different, and I told all the students, I said, anytime you see anything not right, in whatever way, whether anyone here, you just let me know. That means I'm accepting that yes, there will be certain moments where some sisters might not be uh, that happy or that pleasant and all that. So somewhere if we accept that yes, we are all effort makers, it becomes very authentic. In the sense, I'm not saying you all have to become perfect, but I am perfect. No, I'm saying we all are on journey. We all are moving towards a stage of perfection. So I think my heart feels very authentic because we all are effort makers. Now, within the self, I think I have to give more attention on stage of perfection in the sense to some or other, if necessary, to overtake the other. When I say overtake means some days you might not feel that much intoxication, or certain moments of the day you are not really feeling that much enthusiasm. So the perfect part of the self can help immediately. I immediately kind of bring that energy to help where it is less. It's both like left and right hand. We start with the right hand, and when it's too heavy, then left hand lifts. So somewhere they compromise, I think, in a natural way. But yes, we definitely want to see how it can be complete perfection, and we don't need this kind of compromise. Yeah, but it needs now. But we don't compromise on the lower side. It has to be compromised for other side.
How did you witness that stage really of Brahma Baba, of authenticity? We hear sometimes little, to me, the only imperfection Brahma Baba had was forgetting Baba when he's eating. Because he would say, I'm trying to remember him and I forget. And to me, that's all I heard about his stage of being effort maker. He would say that sometime, I'm trying, but I'm forgetting as well. Any moments you felt that sometimes Brahma Baba showed you, I don't know, we would call it today here a vulnerability or a little openness to how he was really making more efforts than just remembering Baba when eating? Or
Well, this what he says. I think that one of the method which Baba used, I think, which I feel we all should use, is that Baba keep reminding us also. Like while playing, Baba says, with whom are you playing? So we will say with Baba. Baba said, no, that's wrong. How can Baba play? Or you playing with Bab Dada? Or you playing with Mother Father? So I think that it's not that there will not be few moments during day also where he will feel that he is not remembering. But there was a lot of emphasis on that I should eat in Baba's company. Then Baba say we should play in Baba's company. So I think that when you look at his face, when when real face in the sense of now is different, you could see that internally how is it attentive to keep Baba with him. You could feel from his face that he's talking with us, he's playing with us, he's kind of entertaining us, but internally he's trying to hold on to Shiv Baba. through remembrance. It's not that Shiv Baba was all the time in him. Shiv Baba will come, he will leave, come and leave. Now, there are certain times Shiv Baba is in him, but while eating, Shiv Baba is not there in him. So that is where I think he says, oh, I have to remember him. Or let's say he's taking shower or he's doing some physical actions. Shiv Baba is not there. But then he will invoke Shiv Baba. I remember that there was a time we all used to take bath with bucket and tumbler. So he said, oh, in temples there is shivling. And here now I am giving, he will put this tumbler of water and he will keep thinking I'm putting this on Shiva, like in temple they do. So many times like he will invoke, he needs to invoke. And that is where remembrance and forgetting comes. So it's two things. One is when Shiva is in him. And then when he is doing actions to keep Baba with him was his effort. So sometimes I think most of the time he must be able to do. That is why we didn't see his past sanskars emerging. Even there was a cough and little things, he will say settling of karmic accounts. But basically, right, the way he was settling can show his remembrance, becoming Satopradhan and not having any obstacles on his journey. And even through body or anything, like obstacles were being removed and he was able to move forward. And whenever there were obstacles in Yajna, still, he was able to pass with honor for himself and help others also to pass through in a very beautiful way. So I think both things were going on together.
At the same time, how do you remember Brahma Baba also being what we call today real? And sometimes I think some are trying to be authentic and connecting with whatever they feel inside. But other people from outside, they say, they're nice, but they're not real, these people. And they sometimes think we're a little bit unreal. For Brahma Baba, I'm sure, most people must feel that not only he's authentic, but he's real also, no? Is there a connection between the two? Or?
Yeah, what I call it human. And I feel that God there, but he was human being, right? So I like it that how God, when Baba comes in him, of course, that highest and high, holiest and high God. But Brahma Baba was very human. And that part I love so much because I could connect with God, of course, but then with a human. So he never tried to be like a God. He was always human. The way he'll walk, he will look at us, or he gives us company, he will call us for a chat or come into the meetings. So it was very beautiful to see him as a human, like us. He makes you feel that we are equal. But if he would have even pretended for a minute that I am also God, I think that wouldn't be authentic. But because he was very real, what he is receiving from God, he's using in his life, he's sharing with us. And so I thought that was very authentic because I never felt him acting as a God, or as a guru. Never, never. He was very humble, very simple. Here many, many instruments, they think they are like gurus, like they want that respect as if they are the superiors, but not with Brahma Baba. So authenticity really is that you are what you are, right? He was not God, but of course he was divine, he was godly. And so I feel that I felt very good with around him because he never tried to be what he is not. So it was very natural and but divine again, alaukic, very alaukic. Even if he's eating, his drishti was alaukik. But he won't say, no, I am God, ever, ever.
Would you agree that also maybe the opposite of authentic is a little bit like pretending?
Yeah.
And like you say that some instrument try to play super yogis, and I mean, I tried that when I was a younger Brahmin, to be flawless and nobody should see any mistake, but it's very difficult to be like that all the time. And one day or another, we have to break the mask and just be a little bit more authentic, so not to pretend. And would you say that, sometimes it can take the form of trying to please other people? And because sometimes I see that it may be from a good motivation, but it sounds also like there's some playing the role of trying to be so nice and pleasing others that it's not authentic, is it? So yeah, I was asking if
Yeah, I understand. And yeah, what you're saying is that, see, authenticity also has humility. And really not, you won't need to pretend, nor you have to please anyone. Nor you try to gain respect and the love from anyone. People should love me, they should believe me, they should respect me. Well, if you are authentic, whatever, they will believe you, right? There are many, they try to convince you, and I necessarily don't believe in that. I feel truth is truth. How can you convince, And it has to be recognized, it has to be understood. Same is with the respect. Oh, people listen to you, they don't listen to me. So what's the reason? So I think that this authenticity has this natural nature, humility, easiness, lightness. And you are not like trying to command anyone or dictate anyone. No, we all are following Baba Srimad. There is only one dictate, and that's Baba Srimad. And we never say, I am saying it, so you have to do it. Baba is saying it, we all have to do it. Let's follow Baba. I won't say follow me ever. Some instruments might say. And not take control of anyone's life, because everyone has to choose, everyone has to enjoy their path, everyone has to decide for one's own self. Because there are some instruments they think now they have 20 students, so they have total control on them. No, it's not control, it's trust, guidelines. We travel together. So there will not be any difference in the sense of I am also a student and everyone is instrument in some way or other. I'm instrument maybe for center or for the region, but everyone is God's instrument, has to serve by example or by sharing knowledge or doing some kind of service. So these natural qualities will be there when we are authentic.
and I felt comfortable asking because it's really something I've seen in you that has always been a little bit, how to call it, unsettling for me in the beginning, that I never felt you were trying to please me or to do or to say anything just to make me, to please me. And I always felt, how can she do that? And because I'm so French that we always try to be so nice, even if we don't feel nice. And I said, I can someone not be like this? And I learned to be less, artificial. So now if I'm nice, it's because I'm really nice. But it took me a long time to learn that. And I've seen in you that you don't try to look or pretend or do anything that is not what you are. And I was very curious for a long time how you can do that. And either it's not being concerned about judgment or how people think of you. This is quite something we want to steal from you, and we learn certainly, because I find sometimes by trying to pretend, it's tiring. It's tiring, and people are not themselves. So then they never find who they are really.
Yeah, and also little bit about my specialties and my this, and I have lot of specialties, but not being recognized. I feel that if they are Baba gave me some specialties, they will be used. So this attachment, subtle attachment with one's own prestige, status, role, so many things. But for me, like somebody says she's the head, I say, please don't say that because I get headache when I sit and say I'm head now. So let me be very natural. So I think that to be natural, and I think it's very, very easy. And that's what one should be. And you will get what you are. It never happens that you get less. Even if you get less, you are satisfied because it's okay. you know. We, all- so I think maintaining that self-respect is very important. And that's what I always say. Baba looked at me, he loves me, and he still loves me a lot. So I have that self-respect and I want to have a enjoyable, happy, natural life.
So if we call you the eyes or the heart, is that better instead of the head?
No, instrument is okay, no, Nimit.
Instrument. Last little question before we call Sister Gayatri. What would be your advice if, on the other hand, someone is maybe, having this kind of, maybe there's a day when you feel a little bit less in a good mood and your stage is not so high, and then there's a service meeting, and then instead of trying to be so perfect, the person feel, oh, let me just say what I have on the mind and I'll be authentic. I'll just say what I have on the mind. But what's on their mind is not very, very nice, but they still say it. So what will be your advice for such a person to say, you can be authentic, but do something so that you don't necessarily express your lower side of yourself in what
I,
they think to be an authentic way?
I think that whenever you find your energy is not as it should be, go in silence. And even what you have to silent and be observer and listen until you are very clear. And yeah, that's one thing. Is not authentic doesn't mean, like some people say, I'm a frank person, and then you keep hurting someone. And I'm very open, so you keep saying things which could hurt people. No, you have to be sensible. You have to be sensible because if I am in self-respect, respect everyone. And I know all of us maybe did once in a while, because I know one time I was kind of, everyone around me will, you say it, you say it. So I was like a spokesperson for them. Then one time I realized, I told them, no, I'm not going to say. Each one of you say what you have to say. Generally, all the sisters, no, because I will speak. Oh, you say it. Then I realized one day I said, no, I'm not going to say this. And I told them, each one of you will say. Because if I say it, it has importance. And if it's not proper, it's not good for Yagya. As Sister Mohini said it. So I became like more in the sense of I still say whatever has to be said. Once I have any concern, I say it because I feel if after a few years I will know I could have said, I didn't say. So I say, but with modesty, with respect for everyone. I think that's what I will use, and I am doing it.
Well, once again, such a big thank you. Mohini Didi really learned so much in every session. So if I feel my stage is slightly lower and I say nothing, I would say I'm in authentic silence.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So let's see what Sister Gayatri will bring for our poetic sentence for tomorrow. Thank you, Mohini Didi. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, Brother Eric, I have a question for you. And this question came from someone else. Your last name is La Rest.
Yes.
And this morning, Baba was saying that now we should have rest and we should be refreshed. Is there something like authentic rest?
There is, Baba mentioned it. I checked 14 times in the Murli. I felt like he was calling my name 14 times. If your name is rest and you hear rest 14 times in the Murli, you don't sleep at that time. And rest actually comes from a name of Brittany, from small Britain, not UK, but the Britain in France. And rest is a Breton name that means rest, of course, to rest. And it was for the pilgrims. And in Britain, when they have those pilgrimage places to indicate the pilgrims where they can stay for the night, it's called the rest. And that's where my name came from, because, when they give names in the old days, they didn't have last names. It was John the mountain, John the river, John the valley. That's what the French names are. Last names is John from the valley, John from the river, John mountain. And our family we were probably resting all the time in that area. And we were probably permanent resident of the rest, not doing the pilgrimage, just resting. So this is the authentic rest. Resting on the pilgrimage.
Rest houses.
You just rest on the pilgrimage all the time. And you are just named like this, the rest.
So that's authentic rest.
It's authentic.
As you're traveling the pilgrimage.
You rest in the pilgrimage.
Great, thank you. That was wonderful. So now we will be looking at Baba's roots and skara. And today's roots and skara is authenticity. And so we usually have a slide that shows us the days and the roots and skara. Anyway, it is today authenticity. And Sister Mohini and Brother Eric took up a lot of areas of authenticity that I think that would help us in looking at the four faces of Brahma. Now, the four faces of Brahma literally means that each face reflected. So what you are on the inside reflects on your face. So Sister Mohini spoke about Brahma Baba in these different stages over the days, but today she focused a little on his human face. And so when we look at Brahma Baba's life, of course, on the part of Bhakti, they say the four faces of Brahma face the four directions of the world. They say the four faces of Brahma determined the four major scriptures. They also, but for us, the four faces of Brahma, according to how Shiv Baba described him, was, I think, the course of his development, the stages that the soul went through. So he had that human face that Sister Mohini spoke about, that he was first and foremost a human being, and he never lost sight of that, because that was the point of connection to everyone. They felt that essential humanity, but he was a good human being. So the first face of Brahma was being a human being. Now, there was also another face that Sister Mohini talked about today, and that was his face of an effort maker. So he was always aware that Shiv Baba could be with him at any time. And so that face of an effort maker, when he was playing with them, he would say to them, children, do you know who you're playing with? So he always drew them back to the fact that Shiv Baba could be in him, and they must not forget that. And so, but when he was doing certain other things like showering, like taking a bath or eating, then he would have this internal attentiveness, which was an authentic way of knowing that when Shiv Baba is not with him, he needed to make he needed to pay more attention to being in Baba's remembrance, so that his effort of that remembrance would ensure that he was keeping that link with Baba unbroken. So that was his effort maker and face. And that is why on his face of being an effort maker, he was never, as Sister Mohini says, pulled by whatever was going on, which are called obstacles in the yagya. Neither was he ever in battle with or in conflict with his past sanskaras. So the face of an effort maker was a face of an authentic connection to himself, to his stage, to what he was doing in the moment and how he had to do it. And then, of course, there's the face of Brahma Baba, which is called the face of his completion. So the 18th of January, we see that face. We see that if you look at Baba's pictures, if you were to take Baba's images, Brahma Baba's images, and put them side by side, you would see him from Dada Lake Raj, the beautiful jeweler sitting with his stick and his suit and his beautiful royal form. And then you put the Dada Lake Raj changing, and then Dada Lake Raj, the human being, and then Dada Lake Raj, the effort maker, still a human being, but the effort maker, and then Dada Lake Raj reaching to this stage of completion. And most of the pictures in his room are usually that picture, that face that shows his completion stage, his angelic stage. And then, of course, the face of his perfection, which he saw in vision, which was the face of Sri Krishna. And so these are the four faces of Brahma Baba, but also it is connected with the faces that are with the virtues, or even the root sanskaras of the Tower of Peace. And of course, the Tower of Peace showed knowledge, peace, purity, and might. And so we could connect them to those four faces as well. And so that is the root sanskara that we'll be looking at. And of course, each face and what was on the inside was reflected on his face. And that is the aspect of authenticity. Now, the daily quote that would support this is how Baba would talk to himself, and how authenticity, Sister Mohini says, is modesty, is lightness, is honesty, is humility. And but I think that it is also non-duality. And so I liked how she talked about the percentage, the question of reconciliation, to reconcile my authentic vulnerabilities or weaknesses, to be authentic with those, and to be authentic with my strengths or with what is good within me. And she says, well, you have to be authentic in the way you would use your strengths to remove those weaknesses. And so one of the ways Baba used this in this quote, I think, is talking about duality and talking about unity. And so the quote for our journey tomorrow, for our reflection, for our contemplation, and for our journaling is: a true thought is to know myself. The thought of business is of duality, and the thought of knowing myself is of unity. So I think this authenticity, it comes about only when I remove the duality from within me and return to that state of unity. So enjoy it. Remember to journal. Remember to do your reflections and your contemplations in a way that really takes you back on this restful pilgrimage to your destination of authenticity tomorrow. Return to your authentic self. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vyakti Journey. Brahma Baba in Bab Dada's eyes, always combined and deeply loved.
अनुभव सुना कि ब्रह्मा बाप शुरू में ये अभ्यास किया जो रोज समापति के समय इन कर्म इंद्रियों की राज दरबार लगाते थे। पुराने बच्चों ने वो डायरी देखी होंगी तो रोज दरबार लगाते थे और करावनार मालिकपन हर कर्म इंद्रियों का समाचार लेते थे देते थे। इतना अटेंशन शुरू में ही ब्रह्मा बाप ने भी किया तो आपको भी करावनार मालिक समझ क्योंकि आत्मा राज है ये कर्म इंद्रिया साथी है तो ये चेक करना चाहिए कि आज के दिन विशेष मन बुद्धि संस्कार स्वभाव को संस्कार को इनों का क्या हाल रहा। और फौरन चेक करने से कर्म इंद्रियों को अटेंशन रहता है कि हमारा राजा हमारा हाल जान लेगा तो आत्मा राजा बन करनार कर्म इंद्रियों से करावनार बन बच्चे कहते हैं कि हम कर्म इंद्रियों को ऑर्डर करते हैं, लेकिन फिर हो जाता है, पुरुषार्थ करते हैं, लेकिन कोई कोई संस्कार या स्वभाव ऑर्डर में नहीं रहते। उसका कारण अपने स्वमान की सीट पर सेट नहीं रहते। तेरे एक कर्म ने हमको प्रेम का पाठ पढ़ाया है, रखते कदम कदम पे तुम्हारे आगे हमें बढ़ाया है। पिता के जैसा दिया आसरा, माता जैसा दुला।
Om Shanti. So Baba also talked about Brahma Baba's diary, and we had been doing all that anyway whole January. So it's matching what Baba said, and of course we had to see our Raj Sabha, it's the kingdom. Thank you, Avyakti team, for bringing this Baba's versions to us. Now let's remember Baba, say good night, goodbye, and take drishti.
Om Shanti. When Baba's song is played, we just feel like just stay with Baba, right? And even lots of love from Baba, and just Baba says, always be happy, and remember Father and inheritance so we can be happy. So lots of love and good night for today. Om Shanti.